Hmm. Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Desiree, and I'm the host of this podcast, Faith Over Pressure. And thank you for tuning in. So, thank you for your continued support. If it's the last video, but if not, please make sure you go and check that out. Um, the last episode was my first episode, and it was about who is Jesus. And this episode will be my testimony. Okay. And if you're new here, then you may think, why did she start with who is Jesus first instead of her testimony episode? Because that's typically how these faith-based podcasts start. They tell the testimony first, but then if you've been following me, then you would have known already. Then the reason I chose to say who is Jesus first, then my testimony, because in my opinion, I feel like if I tell you who Jesus is first, with biblical context, of course, then I tell you my testimony, then I feel like it will show you how good he really is, especially if you're new to the faith or if you just didn't know. But anyway, let's get into it. So, like I said, my name is Desiree. I am 26 and I'm, live in Ohio. Okay, it's that's the basics you really need to know. But I started this podcast to give glory to God and to uh, I'm sorry, and to show how good He is. And because of Scripture, it says to make disciples of all nations. And I figure, well, people always say that I always talk about my faith, and I'm like, well, you know what? If I'm always talking about it, I might as well make sure as many people hear about it. So that's my little spiel about why I started this podcast. If you're new here, um, but I chose it. So, but anyway, so to get started with my testimony, just give a little background. So, typical, I grew up in a Christian home, air quotes, if you're listening. And I always believed in God, but I was, the typical lukewarm Christian. And um, that's how a lot of people are. My mom tried to make me and my brother go to church as many times as she could, but she was a sick lady and also so inconsistent. And as a kid, you didn't want to go to church. Me personally, I just wanted to stay home and sleep because I was tired. I was tired of school all week, so I just wanted to sleep in on Sunday. But so my mom made me and my brother go, and she tried to instill faithfulness. And now, I mean, we do believe, but it wasn't like on fire, and there and as what true believers realize, there is no such thing as lukewarm. Either you are on fire for him or you do not know him. But that can be a different topic for a different day. However, so I grew up my entire life, yes, believing he exists, but not wanting to follow his word, didn't really care. He was, I used him like a genie. Like if I really wanted something, I'm like, please, God, I'm praying to you to do this, to do that. And it was like the emergency relationship. And that's how most of us are, whether we want to or not. So, and I was always used that when I felt like my family was going through financial hard times. And my mom was a sick lady, as I said before. She had cancer twice. First time when I was younger, she had breast cancer. Luckily, she survived that. And then, but like 2 years ago, unfortunately, she got lung cancer and she didn't make it. So um, I wear her around my neck. I've been doing it ever since I got this necklace. But anyway, so I mainly grew up in a one income household. I mean, she had her disability checks, but my dad was only working basically, and since my mom couldn't really help her house because she was so sick, it was my dad doing both the homemaking and the financial part until I got older and I had to step in more. because also my brother has autism and he's on the spectrum where like I can't really explain. Like he can feed himself and he can wash himself and talk and all that, but like and he can help out around the house too, but it's still like I'm the youngest, but I still had to take care of him. If that makes sense, you know? So that was a lot on me feeling like I had to be the responsible one and I'm the youngest. But anyway, so we gone through hard times in our household. And then so um as you know, the older I got, I started to get real depressed. Like I just felt this burden, like God, like why do and I was talking to God, like I'm like, oh man, like why do I feel this way? Like I'm so miserable, like and there's other parts to the story I wish I could share that'll make it more understanding, but it involves other people and I don't want to step on toes, but I feel like I had to take care of people at like a very young age, basically. But so I felt depressed by that. I'm like, geez, like I can't have fun like a regular 12-year-old, 13-year-old. Like I'm always sleeping. Like I just didn't care. Also, you know, around the age, well, even before that age for me, I started to like boys, but like no boy ever wanted me. And so that contributed to it's like, dang, like all my friends are getting boyfriends, they're getting asked on dates, and I still don't have that. I still never get that. And it's just like, okay, Desiree, you know, maybe things will get better in high school. No, still the same. I was depressed, I felt like I had to take care of people, felt like I couldn't be a carefree teenager like other people I see could. I had to worry about stuff. And granted, my parents and other adults around me told me didn't have to worry about things, but naturally I did because I felt like I had to take care of the other people in my life because of circumstances. So I felt like this burden is on me, and I still kind of do to this day, honestly, but it's gotten better. So, and then in high school, I'm still upset that I have never had a boyfriend, have been on a date, never been asked out on a date, no boy ever liked me, never kissed, like never. I only held one man's hand, and that's when I was 6 year old. That was like for 5 seconds. But basically, like no boy liked me, you know. And then I know there's two different storylines going on here, but just try to keep up because it does come together in the end. I feel like so. Um, during high school, I did get a air quote boyfriend for 2 days. And the reason why it was so called an air quote boyfriend for 2 days was because he was gay. He was gay. He told me he was gay. And what's worse, he broke up with me in front of people and I got made fun of. So imagine that happening to you as a 16-year-old girl in high school and you get broken up in front of other students. And then people are saying your pain is not valid because he's the one going through something. And I get that. But that right there is one of the points where I felt like, wow, I really have no reason to feel bad and sad. So the fact that I am feeling bad and sad about not just this situation, but other situations in general, it's just like I felt like my pain and grief about things isn't valid, which kind of made it worse in my opinion, right? And also another reason why I say air quote boyfriend was because we literally just said we was dating, right? But we never even held hands, never kissed, never hugged. We barely spoke to each other. Like what like what? Anyway, so but we moved past that situation, became friends again. So yeah, so and then fast forward senior prom. I I was about to not go because I felt like I was not gonna have a good time. And truth be told, I did not, because I got dressed up, but like I couldn't find a group of friends to go with because everyone I knew had the either already established cliques or they had their own relationships. So I found people at the last minute that kind of took pity and like took them with me. But at the dance, I tried to dance, with my friends, single friends. I didn't have none really. And I felt like no one wanted me there. Like no one asked me to dance. No one, like even the friend group I with, it was like we wasn't even close. I just felt like they just took me because like out of pity. So it was also that into the sense of not belonging somewhere. And whether that's the enemy tricking you, whether that's reality situation that was playing heavily in my mind. And that's played a lot in my mind recently, situations about how I don't belong somewhere. But yeah, so fast forward, I go to college, 3.5 hours away. And in at this point, my parents are separated. So I have, I'm worried now that, I'm worried about my mom because at this point she's still alive. I'm worried about my mom, about being her by herself because she's having health problems again because she was falling and she was losing control behind the wheel, like, and all that. And I was worried about her. And I know my dad would come and check on her here and there, but at the same time, if you're separated, it's not your responsibility, you know. So, I worried about her when I left for college, and when she would call me late at night, it'll like give me panic attacks, even though she just want to talk to someone. But I also give me panic attacks, so that's add on to the grief. And so during college, while I'm thinking about that, I start to get depressed again, to a point where I start to self harm, and to a point where I'm slitting my wrist and hitting my head. Now, and back then, I used to hit my head, like bang on my head, when I was frustrated in middle school and high school, like mad at myself. I didn't realize that was considered self abuse until later on. I thought it was like cutting yourself and burning yourself, but no, apparently I was doing that ever since middle school. But in college, I was doing that in the addition to cutting my wrist and um having to get on medication for it and getting so upset with myself, all because I felt like I messed up so bad. Like I remember this time where I I slit my wrist all because my friend told me she didn't like what I said. And she wasn't mad at me, and she didn't hold no grudge against me. She just said, "Hey, Desiree, I would appreciate if you don't say that no more." She said real nice and calm and whatnot, but I felt so upset with myself. Like I'm such a failure that I felt like I had to punch myself for it. And oh, sorry, sorry. I'm kind of skipping all over the place. Little backtrack. When I went into college, I joined a Christian group, and that's how I started getting into my faith, and so that's where I met all my friends. So it happened in this Christian group where this girl said nicely that, "Hey, I please don't say that to her no more." And I took it to heart so bad that I felt I needed to um, punish myself. So, but yeah, so that started happening, and then when my family started to know what's going on, they said, Oh, Desiree, you just miss home. I'm telling them that's not the reason why I'm doing this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I am missing home, but like that's not why I'm doing this. Like that's not a trigger for me, you know? And I understand they're just trying to make me feel better, but it's just like again, like you're not understanding my grief, you know? So, but so that was going on for a little bit, on and off for like years actually. And I think the first time I started to cut my wrist, I was either 19 or 20. And yeah, um, I won't get into the gory details, but yeah. So that was happening. And then there's other situations too where I wanted to talk to my friends about what I was feeling and about, like, for instance, not having no one ever pursue me and not going out on dates and whatnot like they are. And they hit me with a typical Christian response, you know, it's in God's timing. And you know, it is. And they started speaking scripture at me, you know, and I wish this is something I want to tell people, and because I've done this too. Please recognize the time to like actual comfort and listen to someone versus just throwing scripture at them. But that's a whole different ball game for another day. But I just want to throw that out there. Please recognize the time to listen and comfort in someone. And yes, you still use God's wisdom to help them versus just saying scripture at them and thinking it's going to be okay. Because at least in my experience, it just felt like you're saying that she just shut me up. But anyway, so now I feel like a sense of not belonging nowhere, and then no one intentionally made me feel this way. Now I realize no one intentionally made me feel this way. Now I have felt like a particular person or two didn't care to get to know me as a person, but that's just life. But so I always had a sense of I don't belong in certain in certain places. I don't belong. I can't fit in. I don't do this, that, and the third because like I'm too for my Christian friends. Back then, I'm too rough, right? But to the people who aren't Christian, I'm too um what's the word I'm looking for? Not too clean. And I guess I would be not too cookie cutter, but like what's the word? I'm just not like them either. So I feel like now what I was doing, like I'm not finding my way. So I'm still going to church. I'm going to church every Sunday on my own accord. I'm in college because the group I was in, we went to the church that picked us up and took us there. So that was nice. And so that was the seeds of my labor, the seeds of my mom's labor, taking me to the church, start to flourish because she put that in me that going to church is not a bad thing. So fast forward to that, I going to college and I'm in my last semester before I finish. Let me say like this. I'm in my last semester that I'm supposed to finish, but financial aid messed up. Therefore, I cannot finish my last year of college. So I was forced to come back home and work a dead end job. And while I was doing that, my mom and dad got back together and me and my mom started trying to go to church on Sunday. We're trying to find church we like consistently. And we found some that was like okay, nothing that really like sparked us, at least sparked for me compared to the one I was at in college. And then, I'm still feeling like, why does no one want to pursue me? Like, I really want to get married and have kids. And at this stage, I'm like, I stopped going to college when I was like 22, 20, the 22, 23. No, it would have been 22. Yeah. So because my mom died when I was 24. Yeah, so it was 22. It was 21 or 22. So I crashed out so bad that I had to go to the ER and be in the mental health room. And keep in mind, this is this place where I work at, so people know me. So yeah, and I still work there too, part time at that same hospital that I crashed out at, and people know me and recognize what happened. So that's still a struggle for me, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so that's going on. Like, so I crashed out so bad that I had to be taken to the mental health hospital for 3 days. And at that time, my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer. Actually, no, let me take that back. She was diagnosed with lung cancer like 2 or 3 months ago. I didn't find out about it until like maybe a week or two before that happened, because no one wanted to tell me. So that just added fuel to the fire because they felt like I couldn't handle it. But I was trying to explain to them, it doesn't matter now. Obviously, my mom's gone, but I was trying to explain to them, me finding out the way I did was not okay. So, but that happened. So my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer again, and that situation was happening too. So I was really going through it, and yeah, and so that happened in like, long story short, we thought my mom was getting better, and then April 2023 she passed. So yeah. But anyway, life goes on. So unfortunately, me and my dad had to move in with my grandma, because we could not afford to um pay rent, because he stopped working to take care of her in her like final months. We didn't know it was the final months, but he stopped to take care of her and all that. So we moved in with my grandma, and it was an adjustment to say the least, but I'm still grateful that my grandma let us stay with her. So yeah. So fast forward. Um December 2023, I have a kid. And like 2 days before Christmas, someone tried to steal my Kia outside my grandma's house. Luckily, the neighbor 2 doors down from me um caught caught them and screamed at them and scared them away. So luckily, the only thing was I had a broken window, and that's better than having a missing car. So I'm grateful for that. So the next day, me and my dad went over to the neighbor and saw what happened. He didn't see much because it was dark. But then um, his son came in, and it was wow. It was wow. For me, it was wow. Like, I mean, like, yeah, it's just attraction, but it's like, wow, okay, wow, he's cute. So, I, I, we introduced ourselves to each other, and he asked to walk over to my car with me to see what happened. No, I don't know why, but he told me his name, and then like 2 months later, I found him on Instagram, and I followed him and all that, and we started DMing each other, and we started talking to each other platonically, and when we met in person again in March, in my mind, I'm thinking we're talking romantically, but no, it's platonically, and that's another issue I have too. I'm thinking people are talking to me romantically, but no, it's just platonic, whatnot. That's nothing that happened. So, but we was talking, hanging out as friends, whatnot. And he said he wasn't looking for nothing. I'm like, okay, cool. He said be friends. And he's like, okay, sure. Months go by. We start talking. I started hanging out at his house at all hours of the night. However, nothing happened. And then I started to get mixed signals from him. You told me you didn't want me, but you're sending me mixed signals. Like you're touching me on my back. You're making comments about my backside. And you asked if we could kiss. So, sir, that's confusing. If you to say the least, that's confusing. Um, Again, I don't want to spend too much time on that part because that involves another person's story. I cannot get into much. However, that was feeding the part of me of a guy not wanting to talk to me. And so I felt like even though it's platonic, so-called platonic, it was like, wow, I think I'm turning him around, and I think maybe he might actually like me now. No, 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 because something happened in June or July 2024. Can't get too much into it. Basically, we got mad at each other and became very toxic for like 2 or 3 days, cussing each other out, and going back and forth over the phone. And I got so angry. I went to his house at 11 o'clock at night to prove a point. And I crashed out. To say at least, I crashed out. You know, I'm a crash out. Crash out girl, crash out city, crash out queen. Okay. Um Arguing. I said I wasn't leaving. Because you're not gonna talk to me that type of way. And like it's just like I'm losing myself in a situation because like if I was fully sane, I would not have done that. I would have let it go. But no, I'm crashing out. So um we start arguing and whatnot and all of that. And we in like we get up in each other's faces. Well, he gets up in my face, but we get up in each other's faces. This is going on for at least a good half hour. And then words were exchanged. We start going crazy. Not we don't go crazy, but like we start just getting more and more angry at each other, cussing at each other, and we again I can't explain too much detail into it, but I know needless to say, I left without getting the resolution I wanted because I was coming over there for peace initially, but it turned into crashing out. You know, because I'm the queen of Crash Out City at that point. So that was happening. And you know what the crazy part is? Back at that time, I was looking for a church home because I was living here. So I was looking for a church home. And I'm like, you know what, Desiree? The church that you've been trying for the past couple times, that'll be your church because you need church. The fact that you acted this way so badly and that I thought for just a brief moment it was funny. That's messed up. What's wrong with you, Desiree? Why did you think that's so funny? So therefore I told myself, I like a church up the street from me. That is your home church. You need to go to church more often because the fact that happened, just in general, was not okay. The fact that that happened and I thought it was briefly funny for a moment, not okay. Something's not right. Something's not right with me. I thought I was trying to stand up for myself, but even then, why I think it's funny. And, you know, so that was happening. So I told myself, you know what? I need to get closer to Jesus more. And I need to work on myself more. And I'm still doing that. And then that situation has made me lose track of my fitness. Well, let me not say this. It didn't make me do anything. It caused me of my own free will to lose track of my fitness and my health. And I started calling out work because I was so depressed by the situation. So I'm like, Jesus, like, have I fallen that bad that I crash out to the point where every part of my life is messing up, not because it's just one situation? Because I thought this situation was gonna feed into insecurity in mine, but it turns out it made it 10 times worse. It made it 10 times worse. So, me and him didn't talk for like 2 or 3 months. Then we reconnected, but we've only hung out like 2 or 3 times after that happened. And trying to like not even reconcile he because they don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay. But things had definitely changed, and they at this point in time no longer want to talk. They no longer want to have contact as of now because of what they're going through. And that's just and I feel like with that situation, I have seen my mindset has changed. It's no longer could I convince them, could I see if they could bend to my will. Is more so how can I serve them, because this person was talking to me about how they don't really believe in Jesus like that, and like they're lukewarm, like they believe in Jesus, but like they call me crazy for believing the way I do. So ever since getting closer to faith, I have learned not to hold grudges. I try to hold grudges, and I try to pray for healing, not only for me, but for other people in my life. Like I pray for them constantly. I pray to Jesus, Jesus, please let them find you one day. Um, the patients that work at the hospital, I saw one today that was sick. He was yellow, like, and he did not want to continue living. I say prayer, like, Jesus, please help them. Please, please help them, you know, because I feel like ever since getting closer to Jesus, my mindset has shifted to more praying for their healing versus praying for my own, or just praying for my own, even if they wrong me. Like at my other job at work, when people get me angry, I tell God, hey God, please remove this anger out of my heart. Please do not let me be bitter about the situation. And please, God, if they're going through anything, please help them with their healing as well. Versus back in the day, I would just be like, God, show them who's boss. Like, I was trying to see vengeance for them on them. So that's pretty much that's just I can't go into too much detail. I can do side stories later on. But that's my testimony as far as how I came back to trying to know Jesus again. So basically, if I could give you a quick summary, lukewarm, college hits, started my faith journey on my own, but then, mental health went, left basically, and then life started to happen, and then my mom died, and then a situation happened where I got totally discombobulated, and Jesus was showing me all I need is him, and all I should focus on is him, because the result of a situation happened where, since I didn't focus on him, I got my heart broken. Because if I knew what I knew, if I knew back then what I knew now, Jesus did not keep good things away from us. If it was meant for me, it would happen. That goes for relationship, friendship, career, job. And, I still struggle some with that to this day. But I tell myself if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. Yes, I still get sad about stuff, but that's why I keep telling myself it was meant to be, it's meant to be. God doesn't keep good things away from us. So, but basically, just from that situation alone has proved to me how I need Jesus more because, truth be told, depending on who I did that to, I could have died that night. Just being straight honest, I could have died because you don't know what people are, you don't know what they have in their house. Because this guy does have guns, I'm not saying he would have done it to me, but I'm saying in general, like you don't know what I don't know what could have happened. Because that's how far gone I was going in my brain. So, but yeah, but that's all I have to say. Thank you for tuning in. That was my testimony. I'm sorry I'm all over the place. I'm trying to get used to this, but yes. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Just give me more topics with what you want to listen to also. And I'm trying to be more consistent. I have some technical issues because this is supposed to be out Friday. So if everything goes correctly, you might get 2 episodes in 1 week because I'm trying to be consistent. But yeah. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Please follow me on social medias, TikTok and Instagram, Faith Over Pressure. And we are on YouTube. And I don't know if you noticed at this point, but I'm also on Spotify. So I'm also on Spotify if you'd like to listen. So please like, comment, share. And if you have any tips or advice, leave them down below. Please be nice. I understand that I'm not the best at this. I understand I may stumble a little bit. So please be nice. Please if you're gonna get criticism, please be nice. That's all I can ask for really. And please have grace with me. But yeah, but please have a blessed day. And I hope your week goes the way you want it to go. God bless and have a good rest of your day.